10 women in this village became pregnant at the same time. No one knows who the father of the child is. A few months ago, a man drove into this town. He looked outside and found the cows on the ground. The next second, he just rolled his eyes. And something terrible happened in the village. A woman fell to the ground with a weak foot. At the same time, everyone in the town fainted. On the street, in the bathroom, in the supermarket, even the little parrot and the dog were not spared. Soon the locals realized that something was wrong. They drew a dividing line on the ground. Stay alert. Many professionals could not explain this phenomenon. They sent a man in with a gas mask and tied a rope for safety. But within 5 meters of walking in, the man instantly collapsed. People rushed to pull him out and rescue him. At that moment, a female scientist used binoculars to spot the situation. It turns out that the cattle underground has woken up. He looked again. The 2 fallen ones also slowly rose. At the same time, the creatures inside the town also woke up. No one knows what happened to them during the fainting process, what had happened to them, and local and various experts also began to investigate. But as always in this village, this fainting spell did not seem to affect their lives. Anna, a woman scientist, and David, a doctor, thought this may be an unexplained accident, like frog rain, like blue rain. Soon people forgot about it. But the Dr. David thought it was strange because after the fainting incident, he received many pregnant patients every day. Even his wife was pregnant. Eventually he found out that all the adult women in the village were pregnant. What's even more outrageous is that there were many of them who were not married. The local authorities, for scientific research, asked all of them to give birth to children. As a reward, 3,000 per month. At first, the women were reluctant, but almost on the same night, all the women had a dream. In the dream, they were glowing with the light of motherhood. Then, as their bellies grew day by day, the women's hearts began to look forward to the baby's early arrival. Although these 100 women were pregnant on the same day, although they don't know who the father of the baby is, but now they were willing to give birth to the baby. Soon after, the women began to give birth on the same day. Almost all of them had a smooth delivery, but there was still one woman who had a difficult delivery. When the baby was born, it was stillborn. The woman scientist secretly took the baby away. She was going to use it for scientific research. Soon these children of unknown origin grew up, but one day a woman discovered something. The baby was just a month old. He could spell out his name with blocks. I thought it was because the child was smart. But soon after, something terrible happened. A mother, the soup she made was just a little hot. The child just spilled it.
Sweetie, was the soup too hot?
Just to see the girl's eyes glowing green. It was like the mother was obsessed. Slowly walked to the side of the soup pot. Soon the woman was admitted to the hospital. David held his daughter and asked his wife what had happened. The woman turned her head and looked at her daughter. She held back her grief and said nothing. A short time later the woman came to the edge of the cliff to be alone and sad. She could not believe that the child she had given birth to, harming herself. At that moment the girl lying seemed to nod her head. The woman jumped straight off the cliff. Slowly the scientists also found out the situation. These children seemed to have unusual abilities. A few years later the children grew up, and David's daughter Nan also became the leader of the group. They were united with white hair, and they all walked side by side as a boy and a girl. Only the last Kate did not have a partner, so the one who died in childbirth was his partner. One day a doctor gave a girl an eyeglass examination, but through the instrument to see. The doctor thought that the girl's eyes might be a little dry, so she took some eye drops. The children waiting outside turned their heads instantly. Their leader opened the door directly, and with that, the eyes emitted a starry red color. The doctor had an innocent look on his face. One accident after another. People began to suspect these children of unknown origin, but there was no evidence. One day several children were walking in a line. One of them, Kate, seemed to have sensed something. She broke away from the line. Kate came to a cemetery. Here he found a drunken woman crying. Turns out she was Kate's partner's mother. The baby died in childbirth a few years ago. Then Kate met David at the cemetery. David looked at his wife's tombstone a little sad. Unexpectedly, Kate quietly took the initiative to hold his hand. David suddenly felt this group of children may have a good opportunity to teach, so he volunteered to come to the school as a classroom. Who knows that the first class, David found out the seriousness of the problem. He slowly walked out. These children are extremely intelligent, but they have no human emotions. At that moment, a drunken janitor barged into the classroom.
I know what you're up to. One day somebody's gonna get up on a rooftop and they're gonna start.
He also grabbed a wooden handle and hit one of the kids. The boy slowly stood up. His eyes instantly turned red. At this point, the man began to back away in a mute manner. He walked up to the top a little bit, and all the children below were red-eyed. The janitor, holding a wooden dam to dislike the chest, directly jumped down, died on the spot. Then the children retreated in a row. And this scene was also found by David. In order to understand these children, David found the scientist Anna. Anna, in turn, took David to the basement. A small vial contains an alien. It turns out that this is the same difficult child from years ago. That day, a man with a sniper rifle. He wants to kill the leader of the group. He was about to pull the trigger. Suddenly, he felt a murderous aura behind him. He turned around and there were 4 little white heads. Their eyes turned yellow and controlled the man. The man took the gun and sent himself to heaven. The villagers couldn't stand these children anymore. At night, they stopped these children in the street.
Dost thou see as man sees?
The woman gradually froze. She threw the torch directly at herself. The Fulbright Brigade came with the news. They were armed and ready to wipe out the children. And the children's eyes changed color again. One policeman killed his companion directly. Then he went to the followers. They started shooting randomly. The police began to kill each other. The small helicopter crashed in the sky with just one look. Soon the fresh police officers became a field of dead bodies. Seeing this situation, David was also angry. His daughter had killed his wife. And now this. David seemed to have decided something. He prepared a time bomb and put it in his bag. Then he went to the children's classroom alone. He thought Kate was a different child. The others were different. He tried to find an excuse to send Kate away, but his daughter stopped him. She felt something was wrong with David, trying to read David's mind. But at that moment, David did his best to imagine a wall. After that, all the children stood up. At that moment, Kate's mother came running from behind. She wanted to take her child away. The other children's eyes suddenly changed color to control her. Fortunately, Kate was able to save his mother in time. As they watched Kate run away, they started to turn around and attack David's mind again. As their eyes grew red, David's imaginary wall began to slowly break down. Finally, they broke through the wall. They saw the box. They saw the bomb. But it was too late.
He disappeared in the explosion with David. At the end of the story, Kate's mother took him out of the village. No one knows where they are going.